U.S. as a government doesn't do oil. It's private sector that does oil. Okay. So the private sector in a decent country would have rules and regulations and stipulations to giving them access to fracking. But in the US, we don't do those sorts of things because that would go against the free market. So what are they doing? All that fracking gas is being exported. But we're going to release billions of gallons of oil around the world for strategic reserves rather than just use our own, since we've destroyed our economy and our climate and our own ecology with fracking. What the hell, right? Anyway, so Colin, let's go ahead and play the second round of clips here to make everybody suffer through a little bit more jolting Joe Biden.
We meet tonight in an America that has lived through two of the hardest years this nation has ever faced. The pandemic has been punishing, and so many families are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to keep up with the rising cost of food, gas, housing, and so much more. I understand, like many of you did. That's one of the first things I did as president was fight to pass the American Rescue Plan. It cut the cost of health care insurance. And as my dad used to say, it gave the people just a little bit of breathing room. Unlike the $2 trillion tax cut passed in the previous administration that benefited the top 1% of Americans, the American Rescue Plan helped working people and left no one behind.
So American Rescue Plan, okay, putting any money into the economy is a better thing than no money in the economy, okay? Little MMT break momentarily. It's absolutely no skin off the U.S.'s back to have given everyone actual $2,000 checks like was promised when he was fighting for Georgia. Okay, that didn't happen. One of the first acts he did was not give you $2,000 checks. One of the first things he did was not push a Medicare for all bill. There's like a list of about a mile long of campaign promises that Homeboy didn't keep. The only campaign promise Homeboy Bonanza actually kept was that nothing fundamentally would change. And so without being the, one trick pony on this stuff, I think it's important for you to understand, really take a minute to understand. With the power of a pen, without even going through Congress, Joe Biden could eliminate all student debt right now, every bit of it. Without even going to Congress, the emergency powers granted for COVID-19 would have allowed him to immediately institute Medicare for all for the entire country without even an act of Congress. I want you to understand, nobody had a gun to Biden's head. Biden could have easily done these things without even having to fight with Joe Manchin. I want you to understand, he wouldn't have even needed Nancy Pelosi to go out there and fucking do a vote. He could have done it using the existing powers within the COVID-19 legislation, especially understanding that we were in the midst of a pandemic. Could have done this. Both of those things could have been done. And so he's talking about making healthcare affordable. Now, I can't speak to yours, but I could speak to mine. The only bad debt I got on my credit report right now is the unpaid medical bills that I refuse to fucking pay because I don't believe they're right. I believe they're fucked up. So whatever Joe Biden's smoking, pass the Dutchie pan, man. I'm ready to go freaking bong out with this guy because he is absolutely out of his fucking mind praising economic work. Now, we'll give him this much credit. There's been a few times where he's accidentally gotten things right. I believe that his initial push for Build Back Better, if you consider the larger pie, was actually not the worst bill of all time. It really wasn't. There was some good things in it. Not great, good. Okay. But the fact is that he played games. Now, I don't know what the purpose of those games was other than to intentionally be defeated so that he could, celebrate with the handlers that he reports to up top. But the fact is he could have done all these things and did not do any of them. So everything past the we did is a lie. He could have done a lot of real meaningful things for you and I, and he chose not to. People are out there living under bridges. People are out there suffering, getting evicted. People are out there with fucking cavities and sicknesses and illnesses that have nothing to do with COVID because they don't have access to real meaningful healthcare. Even though they have access, it's not really affordable, as we know. So don't listen to the lies and take any of this seriously, because straight up, until he does something, now let me say, if he does something for real, I'll be the first one in line saying, good job, Joe. He has not, though. He has absolutely not. A lot of broken rhetoric that is absolutely full of shit. So with that, keep going, Colin.
Past 40 years, we were told the tax break for those at the top and benefits would trickle down and everyone would benefit. But that trickle-down theory led to a weaker economic growth, lower wages, bigger deficits, and a widening gap between the top and everyone else in nearly a century. Look, Vice President Harris and I ran for office, and I realize we have fundamental disagreements on this, but ran for office with a new economic vision for America. Invest in America, educate Americans, grow the workforce, build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down, because we know when the middle class grows.
During the time where the Bernie Sanders advisors got together with the Joe Biden advisors as they were trying to bring progressives together to set the Biden agenda, when that was going on, a federal job guarantee was put in there. Joe Biden's team said no, they don't want it. When it came time for Medicare for all, Joe Biden's team said, no, we don't want it. When it came time for a Green New Deal, which was brought up multiple times, the answer was hell to the no. Joe Biden celebrated the fact that he wasn't no damn socialist. Joe Biden celebrated the fact that he wasn't Bernie Sanders and that he won. Now, if you remember, and I think we all do, if you believe in elections, and I can't say that I do, but if you believe in them, right? If you believe that it's not political theater, that it's not already predetermined, that they're not selecting who they want, if you really believe that, and that's cool, then you have to realize that Kamala Harris didn't get a single delegate during the primaries whatsoever. And Joe Biden was sleepwalking. People didn't even know where he was. People were wondering, is this man even alive? And he comes out looking like a corpse with some cool aviators on. Hey, listen, fat, okay? He did not win this election in any way other than the fact that everybody was so scared of Trump that they got their curlies, short and curlies, up in a bunch and supported him. Now, I don't believe many people that did pull the trigger for Joe really wanted Joe Biden. I think he knows that too. So the question I have for you is, how in the hell did he actually get in there? Because the stuff he's saying, it doesn't ring true to me. It doesn't ring true to me, okay? Does not ring true to me. So anyway, go ahead, Colin. Let it roll, buddy.
The middle class grows, the poor have a way up, and the wealthy do very well. America used to have the best roads, bridges, and airports on earth. And now our infrastructure is ranked 13th in the world. We won't be able to compete for the jobs of the 21st century if we don't fix it. That's why it was so important to pass the bipartisan infrastructure law. And I thank my Republican friends who joined to invest and rebuild America, put us on a path to win the economic competition of the 21st century that we face with the rest of the world, particularly China.
One belt, one road. China is savate kicking us. They're doing backflips. They're doing pirouettes. I mean, they're like doing river dance. If you can imagine them doing little elf river dance, elf on a shelf, they are like laughing at us, right? Dun, 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 dun. No joke, man. They have got some of the most kick-ass technology you have ever seen. You would love, you may not like the culture because it's so different than Western culture. And even if you hate Western culture, it may be challenging to meld into Eastern culture, right? It may be tough learning how to use an Eastern toilet. But I'm telling you, aside from that, China is kicking our ass, okay? And they are investing in their people. In fact, when you talk about educating the bottom, I'm hearing from people who are experts in the field that public schools in China are preferable to any private school. Why is that? Because at some level, even though the government is somewhat authoritarian and has done some things that I'm sure would really, really piss a lot of people off, been underhanded and fucked up, they have proven themselves to still follow through on delivering these key things for the people. People have health care. They don't worry about getting sick in China. They really don't. They know for a fact that they can get treated and it ain't going to break their bank. They know that when they send their kids to school, that they are going to get the best education available. They know this. They hang their hat on it. They really mean it. They want to compete. They invest in their people. And they've got way more people than the US. I think we got 350, but they're in the billions. Okay. And they still, now mind you, it imperfect. Don't ever let it be said that Steve Grumby whitewashed the ills of China. But China, we're not competing with them, folks. Let's just be fair. So I want you to be aware that while he's talking about us competing with China, that is a lie. We can't even get Democrats to support building our infrastructure. We could create enough money out of nothing. Congress says, write the bill, pass the bill, appropriate the money. Boom. We could compete with China. We could do it yesterday. We could kick China's ass if you're into the ass kicking deal instead of cooperative behavior. Instead of building public services, we are in the business of, once again, this neoliberal project. So do not let them ever lie to you and act like we're competing with China. China's already beat our ass. There's nothing we can do about it at this point, not without drastic changes. And we're not going to see those kind of drastic changes unless the oligarchs up above decide that it's time to see those changes.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to Status Coup's daily live stream Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time and Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.